Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 and I wanted to bring you another teardown. My parents were throwing out their old 5-disc Sony CD changer here, and so I thought I'd do a teardown of this, and just give me a second. So basically, this guy is almost as old as I am, quite a few years younger actually, but it was made in December of 1991. It is a Sony CDP C312M, and yeah, this is pretty hefty. It just has AC, and then it just outputs mono right there, or stereo through the RCA jacks. That's pretty much all there is to it. Plenty of buttons and a nice VFD display. My parents just don't really use it anymore. It just takes up a lot of room, so they're throwing it out. And so I thought I'd chomp at the bit to do a teardown for you guys. Sorry about the impromptu lighting and whatnot, but it's really difficult. I don't have enough desk space for something this large to be able to easily move and take it apart. But anyway, let's start by taking out the screws on the side. Come on. Set on autofocus. Yeah, this guy's a little bit unwieldy. Yeah, but they've had this since I was a little kid, and it came with a tuner, amplifier, nice pair of speakers, and tape cassette deck, dual cassette deck, and all this other stuff. But we just don't really have a need for it anymore. So anyway, once those guys are out, 2 more screws on the back. This guy has so many screws. At least it's pretty straightforward to open. I just popped the lid a little while ago just to see. My curiosity got the best of me. And then before I got too deep, I figured, I might as well show you guys what it looks like on the inside. Okay, this guy should sort of this is the annoying part. Should have finagle it. There we go, and off pops the lid. And as you can see, there's a tray for the 5 discs, and the actual reading mechanism is over here. It's very similar to 5¼ inch drives that you'll find in most desktop computers. The laser bed actually rises up and down in order to eject the disk tray assembly, and there's just a magnetic spindle hat here that it latches to the actual spindle head underneath there. Once I get this guy off, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Here we go. And I hope this is the way to get it out. There we go. And there's just a little spring in there. And as you can see, this guy is magnetic. Actually, yep, this guy is magnetic such that let's put this back on. It actually holds the disc in place magnetically there. So anyway, it's very similar to a lot of other disc players I've taken apart. Let's try to get the front off. Just 2 screws here. You can already see the transformer right in here. It's been unplugged for a while, so don't worry. And this motor right in here is what rotates the discs tray. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to start taking off screws on the bottom. Okay. Sony has always been nice enough most of the things I take apart, they'll have these little arrows that point you to which screws you need to remove in order to lift most of the components out. It's still so many screws. Anyway, I've taken apart a lot of stereo systems. Most people throwing them out. But I enjoy doing this sort of thing. So let's see. A wiggle. There we go. Yep, but there is a ribbon cable. I'm gonna have to remove the entire bottom first. Hopefully this does it. If not, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get all the way through taking this guy apart, so you'll forgive me if I'm not well versed in getting this guy apart. It was basically take this apart now or we're just throwing it out anyway, so to kind of get this apart sooner rather than later. And ooh, I see some interesting bits. Okay, let's see. This guy's not as if. Yep. It's friction fit. Interesting. Right in here, this connector for the front panel display is it's friction fit, but it's like reverse mounted so that it can plug in from the top instead of the side. I've never really seen anything quite like that. Anyway, with that, you can pull off. We'll look at the main body in a sec, but I want to see the display. That's going to be the bottom part. I like how they used different color screws for the front display area. Just 3 screws, that's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward to take apart. And something stuck. Oh, a wire. Yeah, I don't think that's removable. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull out the button board as well, which is another handful of screws. Actually, they went a little overboard. There are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 or 10 screws on the front panel. I mean, it's just the button board up here, but yeah, I guess that they were better thorough than lacking. That'll be cool though. I have plenty of buttons now. Can never have too many tack switches. Plus, I'm excited. I want to try driving that that display. It's beautiful. It's a white VFD, vacuum fluorescent display. And if you saw recently, I made a PIC driver for them. I just need to get some transistors to drive the higher voltage segments, but then I can independently control everything. Either that or get a driver, which probably would be easier because then there'd be less discrete components. Anywho, this guy should just lift out, which it does. And look at that display. VFDs are some of the most beautiful displays I've seen. That is beautiful. And you have your IR sensor right in here. Your power button, which is clicky type. It's on off. And yeah, that's pretty much it for there. Socketed everything, which is nice. And so, put that aside. Now here. I'm gonna guess one of these. Yep, this guy, if you could see, this motor raises and lowers this guy. And then it also ejects your this tray there. You could see it. So, let's figure out how to start taking out some of these boards. One of these. There we go. You just press on the tab inward with a screwdriver or pliers carefully and extract it out. Now, it looks sort of like there's some tabs here, as well as some screws. So, let's get everything unplugged. Oh, missed a screw. Yeah, if you feel resistance, it's probably because you missed a clip or screw. Don't keep yanking. There we go, that's better. And there's a screw holding the mono jacks in. The RCA jacks. And now it should lift out. There we go. There we go. So this is the main transformer, output capacitors. See, these should be nice. Yep, Nippon Chemico. Really nice brand caps. These guys will last forever. Let's see what else we have. Looks like a switching transistor. This is probably, or maybe not even switching. No, that's probably a linear regulator for some of the outputs. A lot of these part names are, they start with CXA, which is Sony's branded chips. Oh, the transformer is still slightly warm. Yeah, I probably shouldn't poke around the bottom of that. But anyway, let's see what else we can find on here. Anything interesting? Not really. There's some missing circuitry up here. Labeled audio. Looks like some sort of stereo amplifier. 2 output capacitors. Yeah, it looks like an op-amp. Basically an 8-pin dual op-amp. And your input resistance and your feedback resistances to set the gain. And then your output capacitors. Yeah. So that's pretty much that. You got a crystal in here. And on the other side, yep, this is where all the magic happens. You're, notice a whole crate full of Sony branded chips. So this guy goes to the main display. So this is probably the display driver. Because if you notice, there's no active circuitry on the display itself. And there's nothing underneath it. So that's going to be the VFD driver. And then, let's see. This guy goes to the head. So if I had to guesstimate, probably this chip right in here actually does some of the decoding of the data. It looks like there's actually some processing on the bottom of the head assembly. So this is probably all the the digital processing and whatnot for the audio. But let's see. Then we have some other Pulse Sony. That's interesting. Let's see. Yeah, without actually going through and looking up data sheets on all these parts. Oh, here. Yeah, DSP, Digital Signal Processor. This guy right in here. Oh, they were nice enough to label it. Well, sort of. Yeah. But Sony's always been kind of nice enough to put silkscreen labeling, really thorough, sometimes even down to the point where it says what the function of it is. This is all the digital stuff. This is the audio. Nice enough. You'll notice, yep, I was just about to say this is probably the motor driver, and it says right here motor drive, because you'll notice the thicker pins on the sides here. It's to conduct heat away from it. Yeah, this guy's to drive one of the motors probably down to here. Yep, motor drive. Let's see, anything else interesting? Audio is this section right in here. Line out, yada yada. Power section. That was easy enough to figure out. Oh, and they even labeled all the voltages. If you get a close up here, 7 volts ground, minus 32 volts, 5 volts. Mute left, mute right. Oh, this must be like the digital volume control then. Right in here, because there are mute signals coming in there. Mute, mute left, mute right. Either this guy or this guy. Can't really tell. But yeah, they definitely went through and all their voltage supply rails, nice thick traces tunneling through here. It's kind of hard to see the black silk screen on the dark green solder mask though. Would have been nice if they went with white, but whatevs. Anywho, that's pretty much all that's going on there. So let's get to the mechanism and the hopefully we can get up in here. Probably an optical sensor, my guess, of some sort. Come on. Not coming on easy. So, let's get this guy. Metal mounting bracket. Oh, they put a spring here. Disengage that before it comes back to bite us. Yeah, that's not coming out. Not easily, at least. Let's see if we can lift something, anything. Probably need to take off the actual tray mechanism now. Usually going to be screws right along the side that do that. Here we go. I should be able to either slide or lift the tray out. Yeah, probably lift it right out. Looks like it was just resting on those rails, the metal rails. And I want to get a closer look at the disc mechanism. Might have to stop the video because it looks like I'm running out of memory on my phone. I'll have to transfer this in 2 parts. Never have enough memory on my phone. Okay, I see. The belt. And this guy's the motor. And there's a optical split sensor in there that detects if anything is interrupting the beam, like a photo interrupter. And that's to detect where the position of this tray, I suppose. Got a nice big screw in here, which should just, oh wow, oiled and threaded too. Another screw over here, which is the actual mechanism that spins the gear. Right in here. And then this entire thing lifts out, and you'll notice that the entire perimeter is the gear tooth, which is pretty neat. See, in the bottom, oh, lost something, bracket. The bottom, there's the linear slide for the actual drawer mechanism, which is pretty cool. And this guy, all oiled up and whatnot, is the mechanism that lifts the head as well as pushes out the drawer. It's actually very similar to most computer drives, the way that it works. Come on. Really not doing anything from this side. No, that wouldn't do anything. Little tooth mechanism for the belt. Okay, let's take out this board if we can. Smaller screwdriver. It's mounted on a bracket. There we go. There's a little clip on the one side. There we go, and it's out. And all the gears fall out as well. But yeah, here's the mechanism. The disc reading optical tray. Let's see, pull this out. Little flat flex cable in there, friction fit. You have your spindle motor right in. Oh, that's interesting. It's spring loaded on top as well. There. And it's very similar to nowadays. Disc readers are super slim, but basically you have your motor right in here, which actually moves the entire head assembly. The sled, the optical sled, as they like to call it. Let's see. You'll notice 3 little pots in there for setting brightness, the power output of the laser and whatnot. Let's get this entire tray out though. Just 4 screws, and my screwdriver's too big. Yeah, this entire assembly is on rubber gaskets to dampen any mechanical vibrations. Oh, these screws are in here kind of tight. Sometimes it helps if you can't get a screw out, take a pair of pliers and torque it, but make sure you don't strip the head. And there you go. Oh, there was some rubber, but there are actually springs in there as well. Huh. For the dampening. That's interesting. Let's get these guys off. Oh. And there you go. This is the plastic frame. It's interesting, they actually embedded into the metal, they embedded melted plastic and they cast it into the metal. It's really interesting. Take off this motor assembly, I'll have to actually lift, which might be difficult and or a thing to do later. But anyway, you can see some trim pots right in there. And the ribbon connector that goes from the laser head to the driver board. You'll notice a little limit switch in here, poking right at it here, that detects when the head is all the way in the home position. Let's see what else. That's about it on this side of the board. There's a little tantalum cap in there. And the actual processing itself. Oh, this actually outputs. I wonder if this does all the. Huh. Yeah, it looks like this does all the processing. It says L out, L in. So I wonder if this outputs analog. That would be really cool. You actually reuse this in a project. They labeled some of these pinouts: CNN, MIR, FOK, CLK clock. Sense, MDP, EFM. Be interesting to try to find. I know Sony, you can usually get their datasheets pretty easily, and the repair manuals for a lot of their devices. So it'd be interesting to get the full schematic and figure out what a lot of these pins do. Because that would be really cool to try to reverse engineer this and then use it. There's a little solder ball here. That's a little disconcerting. Let's see. I kind of doubt that this actually just outputs analog audio and it's controlled I know it's controlled serially, most likely than not. And there's two unpopulated connectors right in here. Interesting enough. Plus 7 volts. Take a closer look at that after I get the entire board off. And there's just a few more little boards in here. A position sensor for, I guess, the tray. And right in here is another little limit switch. This one just lifts right out. Let's detect the position of the tray, most likely than not, when it's fully closed or fully open. Let's see. Oh, this guy's a motor for driving the tray. Let's see, why won't this one part come out? The last electrical component in here, and it doesn't want to come out. Oh, I see. There we go. Getting stuck on that arm. Just a 3-position springy switch in there. And that's pretty much it for now. Let's see if I can dig down into the optical head assembly. Yeah, that took quite a bit of effort, and I cut my finger a little bit getting the motor spindle head off. Ouch. Anywho, several small screws. and the thing just lifts off. Don't want to lose those screws. And you can see underneath the optical assembly. Oh, that's really cool. Anyway, that guy is the actual light sensor. Right in there in the little reverse mounted SOP package. Right in here, you'll see these 3 pins. That's the laser diode. It's probably going to be a 600 nanometer red laser diode in there. Let's see. There's another board in here with what appears to be a few caps, some kind of transistor package in there. Let's see what else. That's about it. Let's see, anything else? That's about it. These are really fun to play with. You can reuse this mechanism, just take off the laser and put some sort of thing. You can make your own little laser cutter or something like that if you get a powerful enough laser. Probably keep this. And here is the other side of the bottom board there, and there's really not anything here. Yeah, other than this side, that's pretty much it. Here is the full view of pretty much everything dismantled. There. And so that's pretty much it for the teardown. I'll go about scavenging some of these parts. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was a little impromptu, but whatever. And so, next time I get something cool to take apart, you'll see me again. Sorry I haven't really been able to post videos regularly. I've been kind of busy applying for grad schools and whatnot, and with my senior design project that I need to finish. So anyway, I'll see you guys hopefully next week. I'll be going back to school though the following week, so videos might be a little sparse again. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it works. Anyway, until then, I'll see you guys. I just want to add something that I found that I thought was really cool, actually. This is, let's see, they're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 for the different 5 for the different trays. This guy has 1 notch, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and likewise for each disc there's actually 3 notches in between. That's how it counts and keeps track of which disc is in which position. I just wanted to add that. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. So I'll see you guys now, for real. I'll see you guys later.